Hi guys, welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, I'm going to teach you the chaining. So first of all, what is the chaining? Here, this is the previous file that I have opened, and here you can see that we have created a div and we have given it the style, and here is the div. When we take the mouse, when we enter the mouse into the div, so it will alert. When we leave the mouse, when the mouse leave the div, so it will alert. Here, this is the previous file. I'm gonna execute it again, and now here it is. Refresh it, and here you see that mouse enter in the div, and here it is mouse leave the div. And now here I want to tell you something, that here you can see that you have to write the, here you have write, you have select this div, you have apply this event, and you have to write this function. But here you again select that div, you have applied the leave. You can do this thing simply by removing this selector and remove this, and you have to append this thing here. Here you can see that this selector and semicolon is removed, and this is the first part and this is the second part, and the semicolon is present here. So we don't need to write the semicolon here because the semicolon is present and at the end of the instruction. You have already know we have to place the semicolon at the end of the instruction. So this is not the end of the instruction. When we want to concatenate both events, we have to remove it and we have to type that semicolon at the end. And here we have removed the selector because the selector is present at the start. So this mouse leave event is apply on this div. Here it is. So this is called the you can say it chaining. This is the first event, and its functionality is start from this to this, and here is the second event, and its functionality start from this point to this point, and the selector remains same. We use the chaining when we want to apply more than one event on a single selector. Here you can see that on the single selector we have applied the two events, so we don't need to write the separate statement here, the selector again. We can just append it. You can say that it is appending. So now here I want to tell you something. When we enter the mouse, so this event will be trigger, and when we when the mouse leave the div, then this event will be trigger. So both events cannot be messed with each other. When we you can place this mouse leave event at the first, and then you can place this mouse enter at the end, so it's still working correctly. Here I'm gonna place this event here first. I have placed the mouse leave event, and then I have placed the mouse enter event. And now here it is. I have refreshed the page, Control R, and now here you see that here when we enter, mouse enter, and when we leave, mouse leave the div. So event, this is not going to be happen. This event is at the start, so this will be trigger at the first, and then this will be execute. So it is not going to be happen. Event will be called on the actions that we do here. And we can also place so many events, or you can say that you can place as many events as you want. And here I'm gonna place another event, that is mouse move, and here is the parentheses. Here is this. It is just same, but we don't need to write the selector at the start of the dot, because the selector is just remain same in all of these events. But if we want to apply the event on the different elements, on the different selectors, then you don't then you are not able to write this chaining system because moving. So now what will be happen when we take the mouse over the div, then mouse this event will be trigger the mouse enter in the div. When we leave the div, then this event will be triggered, and when we move the mouse over the div, then this alert will be going to work. And here is, I'm gonna refresh it, Control R, and now I enter the div, so it is mouse enter in the div, and now I am moving it. So now when I OK this mouse, so the moving the mouse is moving, this will be happen, and then the mouse leave. So you can here you see that first of all we have to leave the mouse to OK it, to check this pop-up box. But now here I'm gonna create a span. All the status is going to be update in the span. Here is span, and now here I'm gonna print this text in the span. Here is dot span, and here is copy this. So now the text is going to be printed inside the span. Here it is. So the text is not printing on the screen because here we have not give the text function name that is going to be inside the text inside the span element. Here is text, and here is this. And now here you see that when I enter inside the div, here it print the enter, mouse is enter, and now it is moving, so it print the moving. When I leave it, so mouse leave the div. So here you see that at the start it print the enter for the small movement, for the little movement. So I hope you understand it, and in the next lecture I'm going to discuss the keyboard events, the key when the key is down, when we press the key down, when we press the key, when the key up, and all other things. So thank you for watching this lecture. See you in the next lecture.